Hey, Fred, Mac Jones looks like he's our backup quarterback. I thought he played real well on Saturday night and kind of took that job and ran with it. So I would expect him to be named the backup later today when Doug Peterson meets with the media. But I thought he looked good.
Without a doubt, just to go out there and he came away with 127 QBR, very efficient, very accurate, made some great throws, got the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
Parker Washington, I thought that was a beautiful ball, catch and run. Mac, he's a former first rounder, man. He's come up in some great coaching situations. You go from Nick Saban to Bill Belichick. What more? Now you have a former Super Bowl winning coach and player, and Doug Peterson. So he's able to be in those rooms and understand what the position is about.
Mm-hmm.
He loves playing football. He's a Florida boy. We got the best football in the world.
No
right?
doubt.
These Floridians. But Mac, I would argue, and many probably would say, I don't know, Freddie, but Mac had a better rookie season than our guy, Trevor Lawrence, who's the current starter on this roster.
Yeah, you could argue that. He took the team to the playoffs.
It's in the numbers.
Yep.
It's certainly in the numbers. 92 QBR versus 71, yada yada yada. 22 TDs for Mac, 13 picks, 12 TDs for Trevor, 17 picks.
Mm-hmm.
There's also what you have to look at, and you know this, Fred. There's also when Mac played with the kind of talent that Trevor played with, he was terrible. So there's that. If you're comparing year one to year one.
It's hard for me to, I'm a friendly guy. Just to say terrible. Terrible is an abusive word. but he didn't play well.
Right. Well, he lost his job to guys that you never heard of. We'll put it that way.
So, yeah, welcome to the league. But no, as far as the preseason is concerned, I thought he played well. Certainly hate to see CJ go down with the groin. But, hey, you got to be ready, and Mac is a guy who's going to be ready.
Yep.
So I think it's safe to ink him in at number 2, but he has to stay on it, stay on the gas.
I thought Tank Bigsby, had a good night, and I read statistically he had a lot of yards after contact, which, again, that gets us to the offensive line, which we'll talk about in a minute. But I thought Tank has had a good, solid preseason and has built off of, last year – disappointing during the regular season. Now we just got to translate what he's doing into September, October, and he'll be fine.
Look, my biggest issue, much like the entire coaching staff and maybe every Jaguar fan around the world, is that you cannot fumble.
Right.
You can't turn the ball over. And that's the thing that kept Tank on the sideline. But here he is in year 2, having gone through 2 preseason games last week. We saw a burst. We saw a long run out of him. I believe it was a 19-yarder. This week, we see him between the tackles getting some tough yardage. You can live at 3.7 a carry, although you want to be better on a per-carry basis. But to see him, go in there, he had 10 carries, 37 yards, ran tough, broke some tackles, and he held on to the ball. That's what I love. He held on to the ball. So I'd like to see more Tank, certainly in his last preseason game, and just his confidence. I mentioned so many times on radio with JP and Mike Dempsey that Tank's confidence was shot, and the coach's confidence in Tank was shot.
Right.
But I believe now he's trying to gain that, and hopefully they'll give him a few more carries going into the next one, take those carries off of Travis a bit because he had a lot of touches a year ago. So feed Tank, man. Give him up some more opportunities and let him, kind of really settle into that solid number 2 role where they'll be sort of a dual threat in that position.
All right, I have a question for you and Jeff. See if either of you can get this. You mentioned fumbles. It piqued my interest. Quarterbacks, career fumble leaders, because Freddie said you can't fumble. So career fumble leaders, not quarterbacks, all right? The two guys are tied at 90 career fumbles.
Is this just fumbles or fumbles lost? Or you don't know the difference? Just fumbles.
Yeah, just career fumbles.
It's going to be guys who carry it a ton of times.
Both Hall of Famers.
Yeah, both probably. It's like Emmett and
good guess.
Yeah,
not Emmett.
And Barry Sanders, or it's guys that carried it.
Fred, you want to guess? Got a guess?
You said it's not Emmett.
Nope.
Barry didn't fumble.
No. I'm just thinking of volume carries.
And it's not Walter Payton either.
Well, I know it ain't me.
It ain't you. I wouldn't have brought it up if it was you.
What about Falk?
Falk?
No.
Nah, it ain't. It can't be Marshall. Well, that's close. Actually, it could be. Is it?
Or what about like Curtis Martin or Jerome Bettis?
All good guesses.
Yeah, I'm just going with guy carries.
It's not Curtis or Jerome. I saw this somewhere when I was doing my little deep dive to figure out what guys were better than me to be in the Hall of Fame.
By the way, Mark Brunell, 76 career fumbles, in case you're wondering. No, it is two guys who played on great rivals from the 70s and 80s. Who?
Oh, 70s and 80s, never mind.
Well, no, they
So it's like, is it, well, is it Franco Harris?
Franco Harris.
Okay, Franco Harris.
Wow.
And Tony Dorsett.
I was going to say Tony Dorsett.
Franco Harris and Tony Dorsett both had 90 career fumbles. So just interesting, and both Hall of Famers, by the way.
Fred, is this the point where you see the light at the end of the tunnel if you're a player? Preseason, right? You're 2 games done. You've got 1 left. You probably get to play if you're a frontline guy at least a little bit, and I'm sure everyone's anxious to get to the real games.
Oh, certainly want to get to the real game. Light at the end of the tunnel. Some guys might feel that they need more time to show more.
More tunnel.
For a lot of guys, they're going to be going on vacation, could be for their NFL lives. So it's all about opportunity, right? So I don't think a lot of guys want to run away from it. I think they're excited to be able to play a more solid game, close to a very real type game scenario situation. So I'm looking forward to see what these guys are going to bring to the table in this last one.
By the way, Fred, you only had 27 fumbles, in case you're wondering.
Very nice.
And you only lost 12 of them, so well done.
Yeah.
Yeah, 12 more than I like.
Oh, I know.
And one of them, your groin was flapping off of the bone. Don't forget. One of those fumbles, we get a groin assist on that one.
You did get an assist.
That was an alley-oop, wasn't it?
Fred, you did?
Yeah, all right.
Hey, look, nowadays with all these different sports books, everybody would say that's the script, and Freddie was point shaving and
that's
all
right.
Other stuff.
That's right.
One of his best friends in life, ended up with the fumble recovery. So, man, that was a crazy moment.
By the way, you didn't lose the Jaguars did not lose a Fred Taylor fumble until 2003. He went the first 5 years, and they did not. It says fumbles 3, 4, 1, 3. Like I said, 27 in your career, but only 6, 8, 10, 11, 12 lost. So, and one of them was in New England, so that doesn't matter to me, Fred.
Yeah, well, hey, it's on the books.
With the Patriots? Okay.
Yes.
It's on the books, and I hate them all.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes, the fumbles. And I can remember one time TC saying, oh, boy, fumbles are the bane of our existence.
Right.
They will not be tolerated.
Sometimes when you fumble, it's an act of cowardice. You got to be careful.
Yes. Oh, boy.
Fred, he's such a philosopher.
Right, yeah. But the mean kind. Fred, if you had to make some sort of, diagnosis on how you feel about this football team moving forward, has it changed since camp started? Has there been anything that's made you feel either better or worse? And, not that I don't know if we've had this specific conversation. Is your expectation that this is a football team that will be a playoff team this year?
Look, my expectations are every year we reset. Every year I'm a Jaguars fan. That'll be until I'm no longer, able to breathe. And my expectations are always that we're going to be a playoff team. That's the start. That's where we are now. As the season starts to unfold, reality kicks in and you kind of know what you got, right? So, to answer your question, my expectations, emphasis, are that they are going to be a playoff team. You look at how well they played last year to start, injuries kind of shook them up a bit, and then they sort of derailed on the back end of the season, and even had a chance until you lose to the Titans and you allow Houston to jump in front of you, win the division, and you go home for the summer. I mean, for the spring, actually. And so I think they'll make the playoffs this year. For allowing that all as well in terms of injuries. Mm-hmm. They have great coaching staff. They have the players that are capable of getting it done. I think they have a better roster than they had a year ago. So for that point, yes, my expectations, I do see them in the playoffs, but we know how much injuries play a big role in the outcome of a season.
Well, we're 1 week closer to those real games. We're all looking forward to it. No, you are too, Fred. And we sure enjoy having you every Monday morning. So appreciate you today. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, Freddie.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys. Go Jaguars.
All right,
sir.
my brother.